We welcome you to this broadcast of boys varsity basketball on NKTelco Sports. We are at Minster Gymnasium where the Russia Raiders will take on the Minster Wildcats. Tonight's game is brought to you by the following sponsors: Keyhole Pizza, First National Bank, Precision Strip, Emerson Climate Technologies, Carriage Works, Grand Lake Health, Kogi Plumbing and Heating, Lincoln Electric Automation, Minster Bank, New Knoxville Supply, Pratt Industries, Wagner's IGA, Wilson Health, Winners Meats, Borchers Floor Center, and NKTelco. Good evening, everyone. I'm Craig Fissinger, and an extra early start for this friendly showdown between the Wildcats and Raiders. What I've been told, this game was moved up a while ago, and that was due to the expectation that Ohio State football would be playing in tonight's Big Ten championship game, and many of these fans in attendance might want to catch the Buckeyes. Of course, Ohio State lost to Michigan last Saturday, and the Bucs are sitting at home right now, but the schedule was already the change was already made, so here we are. Speaking of football, we'd like to say congratulations to the Marion Local Flyers on their amazing 13th championship today. The Flyers beat an old rival in Kirtland 14-6 this afternoon in the D6 title game, and right now the New Bremen Cardinals currently are winning heading into the fourth quarter. The last I checked, 38-6 over Warren JFK in that D7 championship game. So best of luck the rest of the way to the New Bremen Cardinals. Hopefully they'll bring home the second MAC state championship here today. We're about 2.5 minutes from tip-off in the varsity contest as we just wrapped up the junior varsity game. Russia won that one by the final of 57-31. Leading the way for the Raiders was Benjamin York with 22 points, and for Minster it was Andrew Kettner with 12 points. After the JV game here tonight, we're also, between warm-ups that is, we're going to have after warm-ups are over, a tribute by Minster Schools to Russia's late head coach Dave Borchers, who died unexpectedly in a car accident back in October. Coach Borchers was a former teacher here at Minster for many years, as well as a golf coach for the Wildcats, and a lot of emotions for both these communities during that tribute, I'm sure. Now let's preview the main event, and we'll start with the visitors from Russia. The Raiders are led by interim head coach Spencer Cordonier, who previously coached this varsity team for 3 seasons from 2015 to 2018, with a record during that time of 55-19. Russia comes into this second weekend of the season with a perfect record so far of 3-0. Those wins are the result of beating Jackson Center and St. Henry last weekend, along with Fairlawn just last night. Let's quickly recap that latest win over the Jets, and it was really the Raiders in control the entire night, leading after the first quarter 16-6. At halftime, it was 38-11, and the final margin was a 34-point win by the final of 58-24. Individual scoring went like this. Hayden Quinter led with 16 points. Next, it was Braden Monnon with 13. Both Ross Fissinger and Colby Monnon had 6 each. Xavier Flippo scored 5. It was 4 points apiece for Braylon Cordonier and Zane Shappy, and finally chipping in 2 were Vince Borchers and Landon Plyan. Now let's look at the home team from Minster. They are led by head coach Michael McClurg, and he is in his 7th year running this program. The Wildcats opened their season just last night and did it in impressive fashion, beating the Houston Wildcats on the road by the final score of 56-34. Leading the way for Minster in the scoring column was sophomore Brogan Steffi with 12 points. And if we look at the Wildcats roster, there are just 2 returning lettermen in Steffi and his sophomore classmate James Niemeyer. Now, from what I'm told, James did not play in the Houston game last night due to an injury, and Brogan Steffi not in the starting lineup from what it looks like here on the scoreboard. So we'll see what happens when they announce their starting lineups. The rest of the roster includes 3 seniors and Andy Puppelman, Logan Cooney, and Dylan Watercutter. There's just 1 junior and Caleb Sharp. 5 sophomores besides Steffi and Niemeyer. There's Ian Homan, Cole Richard, and Evan Pranger. Finally, the roster also includes 4 freshmen, and they are Andrew Kettner, Cole McClurg, Noah Sweeterman, and Cole Albers. In case you're wondering what these 2 teams did last year in this matchup at the Clare Cedar Gymnasium, it was the Raiders topping the Wildcats 63-36, and leading the scoring that night was Russia's Hayden Quinter with 14 points, and for Minster it was Johnny Nixon with 10 points. So we're going to take a short break for tonight's national anthem as well as this special tribute. We'll come back with your keys to the game and starting lineups. Minster versus Russia is next on NKTelco Sports.
Dave also taught math at Minster High School from 2008 to 2017. also spending a few of those years as our boys golf coach. Dave was an excellent teacher and colleague who deeply cared for his students and their well-being. He shared his passion for problem solving and embracing struggle as an opportunity for growth. He excelled at building strong relationships, and he leveraged those relationships to engage, encourage, and challenge his students. Dave was fiercely competitive on the court. Off the court, he was gentle, compassionate, caring, and funny. He was the epitome of class, respecting friends, strangers, and foes alike. Above all, Dave had a servant's heart, always putting others before himself. On his nightstand, Dave kept a copy of the book Ordinary Lives, Extraordinary Mission by Dr. John Wood for sale. The book was a primary source of inspiration in Dave's life. Each day, he wore the Become a Saint wristband that Dr. Wood handed out at his presentations. So that we too can find inspiration in its pages, St. Remy Catholic Church has donated a supply of Dr. Wood's book for interested fans in attendance tonight. You are invited to take a copy before leaving this evening, free of charge. They can be found on a table in the commons. Dave is survived by his wife Nikki, and his best qualities will live on through their children. We are honored to have Dave's family in attendance this evening, including Nikki and their children, Lauren, Zeb, Eli, Michael, Ellie, Jackson, and Paul. Also with us are Dave's father Ed, brother Doug and his wife Beth, sister Michelle, sister Kim, Nikki's parents, Mike and Kathy Magito, Nikki's sister, Melanie Gibson, and several nieces and nephews. Though many of Dave's former students are currently attending college or pursuing careers away from the area, we would like to show the Fortress family a small measure of the impact Dave had on our community. For this reason, we ask all Wildcat fans to stand if you personally had the privilege to know Dave, or if he made an impact on your children or other family members in some capacity as a teacher, coach, colleague, friend, or mentor. Thank you. We now ask everyone to stand and join us in a moment of silence to honor Dave and his enduring legacy in both communities. Thank you, and good luck with both of Dave's favorite teams tonight.
Hi, I'm Mallory. My grandpa's been making the world's worst pizza for 30 years. That doesn't look like the world's worst pizza. Grandpa, I know why they call you Chunky Bob. It's because you use chunky ingredients on your pizza.
Of course, it's not because I'm fat.
Grandpa, this is the world's best pizza. Keyhole Pizza, come check Grandpa out.
Dine in or carry out.
Together, we are family, working safely for our loved ones.
We are problem solvers who challenge the status quo and drive improvement.
We care about our customer relationships.
We stay true to our values, caring and respecting one another.
We embrace change as we journey through our career.
We are Precision Strip, the world's leading processor of rolled steel and aluminum.
Precision Strip, doing the exceptional.
At Wilson Health, we're extending care beyond the walls of the hospital, with resources designed to keep you in charge of your health.
Our independence and connection to the community are unique.
in a world where big healthcare strives to act like corporations.
Our tools may be the same, but we are different.
We're neighbors, friends, and family who truly care about the people who live here.
We call it caring without limits, and it's just the beginning of a whole new Wilson Health.
And now it's time for our starting lineups, sponsored by Emerson Climate Technologies. And for that, we'll leave it to Minster's PA announcer. And the starting lineups coming to you by Mr. Jamie Wolf, Minster's PA announcer. Let's look at our Keyhole Pizza keys to the game. We'll start with Minster. For the Wildcats, their biggest challenge tonight is going to be controlling the boards. Tonight they'll face a good rebounding team from Rougy, and last year in this matchup, the Raiders out-rebounded the Wildcats 30-13. Minster's going to need to crash those boards tonight on both the offensive and defensive ends. And for Rougy, their keys to the game will be handling the physicality of Minster. The Wildcats are traditionally a physically stronger team than Rougy, and Minster has had success with that in the past with physical play. Rougy will need to gauge how these officials are going to call this physical play tonight and adjust accordingly. Those are our Keyhole Pizza keys to the game. And again, those starting lineups sponsored by Emerson Climate Technologies. At center circle, jumping will be Quinter for Rougy and Albers for Minster, and Minster does control the tip. Like we said, Brogan Steffi not playing tonight after getting a game-high 12 points last night in that win against Houston. Also, James Niemeyer, the other letterman on this team for Minster, not playing either. And we're told that both of those players have minor injuries that they are just kind of watching and being awfully careful here right now at this beginning of the season. So, ball out of bounds, and Minster does get it inside, down low to Albers. Albers puts it up and over. Flippo doesn't get the shot, but Xavier Flippo going to be charged with a foul on that one. So heading to the line will be Cole Albers, the 6'7 freshman. Yes, I did say freshman. There's 4 of them on this roster, and Cole Albers, a starter. Biggest kid on the floor. The biggest player Rougy has would be 6'5 Felix Francis, who typically comes off the bench early. So Albers at the line for 2 shots. His first one rolls around the front of the rim, back of the rim, and off. Minster opened the season last night, a win against House and 56-34. The Raiders got a win against Fairlawn last night, 58-24. Both these teams unbeaten so far, and Albers is going to miss both of those as Quinter gets the rebound and gets it to his point guard, Zane Shappy. Zane Shappy, a 4-year starter for Russia at the point guard position, actually came in during his freshman year, a couple games into the season, and he's been starting ever since. Shappy along with Flippo, both those two been starters there in almost their entire career. Flippo indeed has, and he puts up a shot from the left block, and Xavier Flippo, as we mentioned his name, gets the first 2 points of this game. So Xavier Flippo gets the scoring started, and we're going to get a turnover on the Wildcats. Russia going to get the ball here again. Xavier last night in that Fairlawn game, just 5 points. Last weekend against Jackson Center on Friday night had 8 and 11 against Jackson Center and 8 against St. Henry. He's averaging 8 points per game. This shot by the Raiders and tie up on the ball, picking it up will be Cooney. He tries to outlet it to a teammate and throws it out of bounds. So once again, Rushia's going to it's off a Russia player, so Minster will retain possession. Dylan Watercutter, the point guard for the Wildcats. He's being guarded by Braden Monin. Hands it off to Caleb Sharp, on top to Albers. Looking for a teammate, finally gets it to Cooney. Cooney being guarded by Brethren Cordonier, the sophomore. Sophomore class, awfully good here at Russia. And a wild shot there by Caleb Sharp, but he's going to get whistled for a travel. So Russia leading this game 2-0 on a Xavier Flippo 5-footer. Flippo with the ball right now, being guarded by Cooney. Gets it on top to Quinter. Over to Braden Monin in the corner to Zane Shappy. Shappy drives baseline on a screen by Braylon Cordonier. Ball gets tipped out of bounds off the Raiders, going to the Wildcats. Wildcats roster has 3 seniors listed on it. Just one junior, 5 sophomores, and again, 4 freshmen. Very young team. As Richard now with the ball. Gets it stolen from behind by Shappy. Nice steal there by Zane Shappy. Hands it off to Flippo. Cross to Quinter, and Quinter drives. Nice spin move on the block, up and off the glass. And Hayden Quinter, who leads this team in scoring at 11 per game, gets his first 2. And we're going to get a Minster timeout. All timeouts courtesy of Precision Strip. We're going to take it with them. Russia leads Minster 4-0.
CarriageWorks has expanded and now can hold up to 25 cars in our service bay. CarriageWorks thrives on customer satisfaction. We accomplish that by providing top-of-the-line technology. CarriageWorks now uses a laser beam system to measure down to the millimeter of factory specs to better service you and get you back on the road. CarriageWorks has a brand new top-of-the-line paint booth that uses waterborne paint. There's no job too big or too small for CarriageWorks. We're certified collision specialists. Come in and see us today.
Kemmler Orthopedic Center is focused on a personalized, caring approach to treat all aspects of orthopedics, including total joint replacement, shoulder reconstruction, stem cell injections, and more. Dr. James Kemmler and Jed Cooney, certified PA, are dedicated to providing the best orthopedic care in the Grand Lake region. Kemmler Orthopedic Center has offices located in Salina and Van Wert, along with extended evening hours. To schedule an appointment, call our office at 419-586-5760.
Russia leads Minster 4-0 on the First National Bank Think First scoreboard. Other sponsors tonight, as we talked about in our pregame, Keyhole Pizza with our keys to the game. Our starting lineups are sponsored by Emerson Climate Technologies. All timeouts coming by from Precision Strip. Our player of the game that I will announce at the end of this contest is courtesy of NKTelco. The Minster Live Viewer sponsor you see there on your screen is Borchers Floor Center. And Minster getting the ball out of that Precision Strip timeout, and they're going to lose control of it as Shappy picks it up, gets it to Monin. Monin from the right side gets the layup. Russia quickly on top here, 6-0. 3 different players have scored for the Raiders. It started with Xavier Flippo, Hayden Quinter got a bucket, and now Braden Monin. Minster yet to crack the scoring column. They try to get it to Albers down low, but that ball's stolen by Xavier Flippo, and quickly up the floor, getting to Monin from the left side this time. So Braden Monin with back-to-back baskets, first from the right, then from the left. Russia's up 8-0. Coach McCord wants another Precision Strip timeout. We'll stay right here. And during that last timeout, Coach McCord had a few words for one of the officials. Now it looks like he's going to have a few words for his team. Not happy with the Raiders 8-0 lead here early in this first quarter. While we have the opportunity and see the cheerleaders out on the floor, we would like to recognize them. And for the Minster Wildcats, cheerleaders are Elena Hogenkamp, Sammy Cole, Destiny Davis, Maddie McClure, Ava Flippo, Macy Pranger, Star Wygant, Rylan Trago, and Cheyenne Morrow Alt. Also, Morgan Kettner, Hope Phillips, Alexa Stevie, Olivia Otting, Corey Joe Pack, Megan Smeezing, Emma Whipker, Taylor Cordy, and Zoe Stricker. Their cheer coach is Tanya Niemeyer. And a couple of mascots that we see typically at the games are Xavier Kitzmiller and Ella Hewer. Not sure if they're out here tonight. We'll talk about the Russia cheerleaders a little later as we come out of that precision strip timeout. Again, Russia on top 8-0. Braden Monin with back-to-back buckets for the Raiders. Leads the team right now with 4 points. Also 2 by Hayden Quinter and 2 by Xavier Flippo. Minster with the length of the court to go. Xavier Flippo will, Zane Shappy's going to pick up Cole Richard, three-quarter court, and almost another Minster turnover, but Cooney with the ball now. He's being guarded by Cordonier, trying to get around Cordonier at the free throw line, picks up his dribble, hands it off to Watercutter. Watercutter in the lane, attacked by a couple Raiders in there. Ball knocked around. We're going to get a kick ball, and Minster will keep it. Coming in now will be Ian Homan, a 6'3 sophomore, and heading to the bench will be Caleb Sharp, the 6-foot junior. Sharp starting in place of Steffi tonight. Caleb Sharp did not start last night in that housing game. As we said, Steffi, the leading scorer on this team typically, had 12 points last night as a shot goes up off the glass from Ian Homan as he just enters the game. That's no good. Minster still hasn't been able to score, but Steffi and both Niemeyer on the bench. Niemeyer didn't play last night as Zane Shappy gets a floater from the right side to drop in. So 4 different Raiders have scored right now. And Rushi with the 10-0 lead. With the ball now, Richard working against Shappy. Dribbles into the lane, takes a couple steps. Shappy ends up with another Minster turnover. Gets it up to Braden Monum. We've seen this before. No, he kicks it out. Cordonier for a 3. That one short. He gets his own rebound, though. A nice foul. And Braylon Cordonier becomes the 5th different Raider to score. Rushi now with a 12-0 lead. Rushi getting scoring from all of their starters. Yet the sub, although 2 players are at the bench and high off the glass from Cooney. That's no good. But the stick back from Logan Cooney is good. And Minster finally on the board on a layup by Logan Cooney, the 6'2 senior. Perhaps that will get things started for these Wildcats. Rushi with the ball. Cordonier's going to drive baseline up and off the glass. That's going to roll around the rim and down and in. So Braylon Cordonier with the last 2 buckets for the Raiders. He has 4 to tie for the team high with Braden Monin right now. Rushi back up by 12. We're halfway through this first quarter. Homan trying to get down low to Albers. Albers underneath and a nice reverse by Albers. So Cole Albers, the 6'7 freshman, gets the reverse layup. Cuts that Raider lead back down to 10. Shappy with it, gives it to Cordonier. Cordonier gets it out to Braden Monin in the corner. Shappy's going to take a 3. That one's off the back of the rim. No good. Rebound Wildcats. As we said in our pregame and our Kiel Pizza keys of the game, Minster needs to control these boards against Rushi. Although Rushi making almost everything they're taking here right now, so hard to rebound when you're hitting shots. And Cooney's going to take a 3, and Logan Cooney hits a 3-pointer. So Logan Cooney with 5 of the 7 Wildcat points cuts this Raider lead in half. Coach McClurg for Minster already taking 2 precision strip timeouts, trying to get his Wildcats in order. And Braden Monin with another layup. He's got 3 of those so far. So Braden Monin with 6 points in this first quarter, all from underneath the basket. And a trap from Rushi. He gets a turnover by Cordonier. He's going to go up from the left side. No, he takes the right hand and rolls it over the front of the rim. Braylon Cordonier with 6. And Coach McClurg wants his 3rd precision strip timeout. We'll take it again with him. Rushi leads Minster 18-7.
We are here. And here. And here. Minster Bank is everywhere, providing every banking service that you need to keep your financial life in order. Whether you are on the go or stopping by one of our branches, Minster Bank is here for you. We proudly support the communities where you live. Minster Bank, helping people achieve financial success.
Unpack your potential with a career at Pratt Industries. Working at Pratt Industries is more than a job. It's a sustainable career.
Pratt Industries to me is a job. It's my career. It's the way I put food on my table, but I love what I do.
We offer competitive pay, excellent benefits, and opportunities for career advancement. To apply, visit careers.prattindustries.com.
It's a final up in Canton as the New Bremen Cardinals are your Division VII state football champions. They top Warren JFK by the final of 38-6. So prior to that game, Marion Local won the Division VI state championship. They beat Kirtland, their old rival, by the score of 14-6. Again, New Bremen wins 38-6 over Warren JFK. So 2 state titles for the MAC, and I'm losing count how many they have. Inbound from Minster is going to be knocked out by Felix Francis now in the ball game. So Francis enters, as well as Vince Borchers in the ball game. Francis out there, number 11. He is a 6'5 junior, and then Vince Borchers, a 6'1 sophomore. On the bench is Xavier Flippo and Zane Shappy, the 2 senior starters. Cooney with the ball now. He has 5 points, including a big 3-pointer moments ago, and a steal by Braden Monin, who has 6 points of his own this first quarter. He gets it up to Borchers. Borchers gives it over to Cordiner, on top to Monin, over to Francis. Francis dribbles in the lane. He's being guarded by Kurt Albers as Monin's long 3 is no good, but rebound by Braylon Cordiner. He's in the lane looking for a teammate, finds Borchers. Borchers off the left block, rolls it up and in. So Vince Borchers, the 6th Raider to score in this first quarter. Speaking of Felix Francis, Francis was held scoreless in that opener against Jackson Center, had 19 points against St. Henry the following night, and then was scoreless last night versus Fairlawn. So Hershey has a lot of depth here right now, as that's going to be a Raider foul. That one will go on Vince Borchers, who just entered this game. And at the line will be Cole Richard, the 5'11 sophomore, trying to get his first points of the ball game. And number 4 gets the first attempt to rattle out. Coach Spencer Cordiner, as we said in our pregame, came into tonight with a record of 58-19. That's a 75% win percentage, folks, and that is the best in Russia history, as Richard missed both of those free throw attempts. Russia with the ball, a minute and a half to play here in the first quarter. Borchers to Cordiner in the corner to Francis. On top to Cordiner, over to Braden Monin. 3 Monins on this roster for Russia. See maybe Colby Monin a little bit later, a senior, as Francis' shot is no good. He gets his own rebound, though, and makes the basket and gets the foul. So the hoop of the harm for Felix Francis. As we said, he was held scoreless last night in the Fairlawn game after scoring 19 points the game before versus St. Henry in that victory last Saturday over the Redskins. That was a 66-47 win for the Raiders, and Francis will head to the free throw line to try to make the old-fashioned 3-point play. 7 different Raiders have scored in this first quarter, right now being led by Braden Monin and Braylon Cordiner with 6 points each. Everyone else has just 2, and Francis is going to try to make it 3 if he can get this extra shot to go down. He doesn't, as it bounces off, but Russia with the rebound, controlling the board there, as Francis does even better and gets a 2-pointer. So he now has 4 in the first quarter. Russia with a 24-7 lead. A little reminiscent of that game. Another Minster turnover. Cordiner with it's going to go up, and that's going to get swatted, but before the swat by Cooney, there's going to be a Minster foul. That foul will go on Dylan Watercutter. The second team foul on the Wildcats matches the 2 Russia fouls. Cordiner at the free throw line, and he gets his first one to go down. Cordiner now with 7 here in the quarter. Braylon, the second best free throw shooter last year for Russia at 80%. Only Braden Monin at 81% was any better, as Flippo comes back into the game, and heading to the bench will be Hayden Quinter for Russia. Cordiner with one more attempt, trying to make it 8 points here in the quarter, and he gets it. And a couple more substitutions as Cordonier will head to the bench, as will Braden Mon. And coming back in will be Zane Shappy. And for the first time, we will see Colby Mon. Colby Mon, number 50 out there, a 6'3 senior. Hershey with 4 seniors on their roster. Have yet to see senior Ross Fissinger, probably come in a little bit later. The seniors being Zane Shappy, Xavier Flippo, Colby Mon, and again, Ross Fissinger. Cooney almost walking with that ball, trying to get it down low, and he does to Homan. That one swatted away by Felix Francis, and the shot by Noah Sweeterman now in the ball game was short. Noah Sweeterman, number 34, a 6'3 freshman, also listed on the junior varsity roster. Russia with the ball. Vince Borchers has it. And Watercutter will pick him up. A steal attempt there by Cooney. He misses as Francis has it. Getting it down low to Vince Borchers. And a nice open look to Colby Monin with the easy bucket on the assist from Vince Borchers. 8 different Raiders to score in this first quarter as we play the final 10 seconds. Minster trying to score before the end of this quarter, and Cooney's going to try to do it with a 3. That's off the front of the rim. No good. Watercutter with the rebound, though. Nice hustle there by Dylan Watercutter. In the corner, Sharp, he's going to put it up, and that's going to be too late and no good. So after 1 quarter play, Russia leads Minster 28-7 here on NKTelco Sports.
Are you looking for a rewarding career? Lincoln Electric Automation in Coldwater and Fort Loramie supplies top-of-the-line automation systems to manufacturers. Lincoln Electric Automation routinely develops its team through hiring and by offering advanced technical training. We understand that every employee matters, and every role contributes to the success of our business. We offer advancement opportunities, competitive wages, and benefit packages. Visit LincolnElectric.com and get on track to a better career and a better future.
New Knoxville Supply Company, the supply source for residential, commercial, and industrial jobs. We specialize in plumbing products from many name brands, electrical products from replacing a light switch to rewiring an entire house, heating, air conditioning, and geothermal products, sheet metal ductwork, installations, and service. We are now housing more inventory, so all the hardware items you need to complete the job are available right away. New Knoxville Supply. Stop in, call, or check us out online at newknoxvillesupply.com.
We're here at Minster Elementary School, where the gymnasium is located for this MAC versus SCAL matchup between the Minster Wildcats and the Russia Raiders. And after 1 quarter of play, Russia leads Minster 28-7. And last night in that game that Russia played against Fairlawn, they were leading after 1 quarter 16-6. Tonight, doing even more damage to that 28-7 score for the Raiders. They had 8 different players score in the quarter, being led by Braylon Cordonier, the 6'3 sophomore, with 8 points. For the Minster Wildcats, Logan Cooney had 5 and Cole Albers 2. So Coach McClurg going to try to rally his Wildcats. He did call 2 precision strip timeouts in that first quarter as both teams take the floor. Hershey now on the floor with Ross Fissinger, the other senior that we talked about. Fissinger, a 5'11 senior. And driving in the lane will be Xavier Flippo. Hands it off to Colby Mon, and he misses a shot, but Flippo says, here's how you do it. So Xavier Flippo gets the first 2 points of the second quarter, just like he did back in the first quarter. He scored the opening points of this game, scores the opening points of this second quarter. Russia now with a 30-7 lead. Wildcats with the ball. And driving in the lane is Sharp. He puts a shot up. That's no good. Trying to corral it down low, though, is Noah Sweeterman. And a tie-up, and we're going to get a foul. It looks like it's going to go on Colby Mon and the senior. See if that's called on 50. Actually not called on Colby Mon. Instead, that's going to be called on the Wildcats. Pardon me, that was on Cole Albers. Cole Albers and Colby Mon, and a couple big bodies out there for their teams. So Raiders with the ball. Zane Shappy, the point guard, hands it off to Fissinger. Fissinger driving against Sweeterman, tries to get over to Francis, and Francis heading one direction, the ball going the other. That'll be a turnover against the Raiders. Minster coming in tonight with a 1-0 record after they topped SCAL foe of Russia's Houston. Russia got the win over Fairlawn last night. They also beat Jackson Center last Friday, along with St. Henry on Saturday for their 3-0 record. Trying to move to 4-0 now. That shot is up and no good by Watercutter. Fissinger with the board. Gets it out to Shappy. Shappy with a little hesitation, and he loses control. That handle is going to go out of bounds, and Minster Wildcats going to get the ball. Hershey with a little token pressure as Fissinger picks up. It's like Noah Sweeterman, indeed it is. Albers now with the ball being guarded by Monin. Hands it back off to Sweeterman, back to Albers. Cross court to Caleb Sharp. Sharp drives in the lane, trying to kick it out, and is going to try to get it to Noah Sweeterman. Throws it over his head into the Minster student section. There in the front row of the Russia crowd is Coach Paul Cordonier, who ran his Raiders record to 6-0 today. Coaches the girls team, and they beat the Houston Wildcats this afternoon. Has a big matchup coming on Tuesday against the 6-0 Tri-Village Patriots. It'll be a good one in the Claire C. Nouveau Gymnasium. That game will be on NKTelco. I'll be calling that game with Brandon Coverman. Will be the play-by-play guy. I'll be doing the color, but tune in on Tuesday for Russia versus Tri-Village. Reverse from Watercutter is no good. Russia with some substitutions now on the floor is Hayden Quinter. Looks like Braylon Cardonier, Braden Mon, and Felix Francis, and Vince Borchers. Russia the 30-7 lead. 6 minutes to go here in the first half. Vince Borchers bringing it up, being guarded by Dylan Watercutter. Gets over to Cardonier. He's being guarded by Cole Albers. All of these Raiders out there, with the exception of Felix, well, all of them were on the state baseball team. Russia with that state championship last spring. Many of the players on this, even the bench players, many of those same players on that state championship team. And substitutions for the Wildcats as they will bring back to the game Cole Richard and Ian Homan, who came off the bench a little earlier. Heading to the bench will be Sharp, along with Sweeterman. Wildcats inbound with the length of the floor to go. Richard with the ball being picked up by Borchers. Cole Richard, a 5'11 sophomore. Borchers for Russia, a 6'1 sophomore. A lot of youth on both of these teams. Two teams to watch in the years to come. And underneath, Homan's going to try to get that shot to go, but Felix Francis with a nice block, and Hayden Quinter now with the ball. Gets it on top to Borchers. Borchers driving the lane, going around Albers, and that ball gets swatted. Logan Cooney with the block on that one. Boy, Borchers is asking for it, going around Cole Albers and up against Cooney. Albers with the ball underneath, and he puts that one up. The little left hook is no good. Braylon Cordonier with the rebound. Minster yet to score here in this second quarter. Russia with just two, the two by Xavier Flippo. So after that fast first quarter, 28-7, kind of a slow second stanza right now, and a walk by the Wildcats, or excuse me, by the Raiders. Make sure you stick around for our halftime report. I'll have all your numbers from our first half of play. And then at the end of the game, we'll have the final tallies as well as our NKTelco player of the game. Wildcats with the ball as Watercutter looking for a teammate. Tries to get it to Richard, but the steal by Borchers. And another layup here by Braden Mon. He had 3 of those in the first quarter. He gets his 4th layup of the game. He now has 8. Hershey with the 32-7 lead. Watercutter being guarded by Monin, gets it over to Homan. Homan being guarded by Hayden Quinter. That ball knocked out by Quinter as Homan picks it up and looks the official. Thought maybe he was going to get an over and back violation. Richard with the ball. And Russia with a pressure defense, just causing all kinds of problems. And another steal by the Raiders as Francis got his hand on that one. Borchers now with the ball, gets it on top to Monin. Cordonier had an open 3 and decides to take it to the free throw line and take the easy 2 instead. Nice decision there by Braylon Cordonier, who becomes the first player in this game to get double figures. He now has 10. Had a couple free throws in that first quarter, along with 3 field goals. Gets his 4th field goal of the game. Down low with it, Albers once again. Quinter's going to steal that one, but he was standing on the baseline when he did. So turnover, almost a steal by the Raiders. Substitutions now as coming back in the ball game for the Wildcats will be Caleb Sharp. And substitutions for Russia now as Fissinger enters back into the ball game along with Flippo. Rushi with 5 players. They're trying to figure out which 5 they want on the floor. Cordonier goes to the bench, so inbounds by the Wildcats as Watercutter gets it into Albers. Albers being guarded by Flippo. Trying to make a move. He goes up and over Flippo, and Albers high off the glass. Cole Albers, who had a field goal in the first quarter, gets his second of the game. He now has 4. Rushi with the ball, 3.5 to play here in the first half. Shappy gets it over to Quinter. Quinter from the free throw line where Cordonier made one earlier. That's no good, but nice rebound by Flippo and a long 3 from Fissinger, and he gets that to go down. So Ross Fissinger, the 9th Raider to score on the three-pointer. That's Rushi's first 3 of this ball game. That matches the one that Minster hit in the first quarter when Logan Cooney had one. Rushi with the 37-9 lead. And a jumper from Watercutter from the baseline. That's no good, but we're going to get a push foul as Albers went to the floor. Zane Shappy goes over to give him a hand. Watercutter will inbound and underneath the Minster basket. A foul will go on Xavier Flippo. That's his second of the game. I think Xavier Flippo, the only player so far to have 2 fouls. Entering back into the ball game will be Noah Sweeterman. Heading to the bench will be Dylan Watercutter. And for Rushi, Braylon Cordonier into the game as Xavier Flippo and his 2 fouls will head to the bench. Richard to inbound underneath the basket. Gets it over to Homan. Homan being guarded by Hayden Quinter for Rushi. We're going to get a whistle and a foul. Looks like we had some action underneath the basket, maybe between Caleb Sharp and Ross Fissinger. Yep, Fissinger going to get whistled for that foul. So Minster will try it again as Richard once again going to inbound it. Looking for a teammate, and finally at 4 seconds gets it into Cole Albers. Cole Albers in the corner. Down low with it. And Noah Sweeterman, a nice layup up and off the glass. Sweeterman's first points of the game. In the corner, Fissinger gets it off to Cordonier, back to Fissinger. Fissinger's going to take a 3 from another corner, and he gets this one to go. So Ross Fissinger, who hit a 3 earlier from the other corner, gets another one. He now has 6 points. Rushi with the 40-11 lead. Richard with the ball at the free throw line, one-handed off the glass. A nice move by Cole Richard. Nice little floater there, the one-handed floater off the glass, if that's such a thing. Raiders with the ball. Monin kicks it out to Shappy in the corner. Shappy makes a move on Richard, backs it up. He's going to set up the Raider offense again. Down low with it, Cordonier working in the paint. Beautiful gymnasium here at Minster. Love that dark wood on that floor, and we'll get a whistle and a Minster foul. Everything about this gymnasium, they got plenty of leg room on the seats sitting down there a little earlier in the bleachers. Plenty of room between each bleacher. They've got the seats with backs on them. I think those must be high dollar seats because otherwise those would be full. I know at Rushi as Cordonier gets the first free throw to go down. Colby Mana now enters the game and Hayden Quinter comes out. But nice seats there in the middle as for the Minster fans. And just a beautiful floor out there. Have the Midwest Athletic Conference logo, as well as, again, that two-toned wood. So Cordonier gets both free throws to go down. He now has 12 points. Got him for 11 on the board up there. Perhaps I missed one. Wildcats with the ball. Cole Richard now gets it on out to Noah Sweeterman. Sweeterman picked up by Colby Monin, who just entered the game. On top to Sharp. Sharp gets it back to Richard. He's being guarded by Borchers. And Richard, nice behind the back, puts up the jumper and can't get the shot to go down. Cordonier trying to save it, throws it off Ian Homan's leg, and Rushi will get to bring the ball down the floor and try to get another bucket here with 1:21 left to go here in this first half. And kind of a slower scoring second quarter than we had in the first. After one quarter of play, it was 28-7. Rushi, ball out of bounds off looks like Ian Homan. Rushi will inbound underneath their own basket. Rushi outscoring Minster 13-6 in the second quarter. Borchers on top to Monin. Monin going to get in the paint, going to put up a shot, and he's going to get attacked by 3 Wildcats. We'll see if they decide to call a foul on this one. I believe that one's going to go on Cole Albers. So Cole Albers going to pick up his second foul. He matches Flippo and his 2 fouls, along with Ian Homan, who also has a couple fouls. So 3 different players, 2 for Minster, 1 for Russia, with fouls as Braden Monin hits the first free throw. As we said, Monin led this team in free throw shooting last year at 81%. Cordonier will head to the bench, get rested up for the second half. Felix Francis back into the ball game. And Monin's second shot is no good. So under a minute to go here in this first half. Minster trailing by 30 points. Sharp trying to lob it down low to Home, and he gets to him. He's guarded immediately by Francis. And up and good is Noah Sweeterman. Sweeterman with 4 points in the quarter. He's got 4 for the game so far. And with 33 seconds to go, Russia going to try to get one more score. Borcher's looking for a teammate, finally finds Monin, gets it over to Francis. Francis thinks about the 3, finally gets picked up by a couple Wildcats. Monin back to Francis, on top to Borchers. Borchers being guarded by Homan. Back to Braden Monin, 15 seconds to go in the quarter. Monin looks the direction from Coach Spencer Cordonier. Finally down low with it. Francis kicks it out, and Borges is going to take the 3. That's off the back of the iron, no good. Rebound high, Albers, and with 2 seconds, ball's going to be knocked around. Nobody's going to get a shot off. And after 1 half of play, Russia leads Minster 43-15. We'll come back with your halftime numbers next on NKTelco Sports.
Whether you do business from a corner store or a corner office, there is one asset your business cannot do without: the internet. Everything from sales and marketing, training and shipping, PR, HR, and R&D, your business relies on a fast, reliable, and secure connection. And now, it's more important than ever to partner with an internet provider you can trust. Get Flight Fiber for Business, backed by local tech support from NKTelco. Call today.
Hi, I'm Mallory. My grandpa's been making the world's worst pizza for 30 years. That doesn't look like the world's worst pizza. Grandpa, I know why they call you Chunky Bob. It's because you use chunky ingredients on your pizza.
Of course, it's not because I'm fat.
Grandpa, this is the world's best pizza. Keyhole Pizza, come check Grandpa out.
Dine in or carry out.
Together, we are family, working safely for our loved ones.
We are problem solvers who challenge the status quo and drive improvement.
We care about our customer relationships.
We stay true to our values, caring and respecting one another.
We embrace change as we journey through our career.
We are Precision Strip, the world's leading processor of rolled steel and aluminum.
Precision Strip, doing the exceptional.
At Wilson Health, we're extending care beyond the walls of the hospital, with resources designed to keep you in charge of your health.
Our independence and connection to the community are unique in a world where big healthcare strives to act like corporations.
Our tools may be the same, but we are different.
We're neighbors, friends, and family who truly care about the people who live here.
We call it caring without limits, and it's just the beginning of a whole new Wilson Health.
We're here at Minster School, where the Russia Raiders are leading the Minster Wildcats at halftime by the score of 43-15. While we have the opportunity, we'd like to remind our viewers that NKTelco Sports and its sponsors are pleased to bring you replays of tonight's high school varsity basketball action on NKTelco Channel 3 or in HD on Channel 503. These replays will be televised on Tuesday, December 13th at 7 p.m. and Saturday, December 17th at 10 a.m. You can also watch more games on demand through YouTube, Facebook, and at nktelco.com/sports. Also want to thank our additional sponsors tonight. They are Burke Petroleum, Chiltex LLC, Cy Sweeterman Inc., Dickman Supply, Hometown Opportunity, Hulsman Automotive, Park National Bank, SecureCom, and St. Henry Bank. Had a nice little ceremony there at halftime honoring the 2022 Division III state champion cross-country team, the Minster Wildcats, and got a chance to watch them in person myself, and just another wonderful job by head coach Jessie Magato and her coaches and her team. And speaking of state championships, a couple of them won in football this afternoon, as it started out with the Marion Local Flyers beating their old nemesis Kirkland. And going into that game, actually those two had played in the finals 3 times previous, Kirkland winning 2 of those. And Marion Local knotted that up at 2 apiece today, 2-2, as the Marion Local beat Kirtland 14-6 for the Division VI state championship. And then a little later, the 3 o'clock game was New Bremen versus Warren JFK, and New Bremen won convincingly 38-6. So if you hear any sirens coming down State Route 66 or Cross 119 tonight, that would be 2 more MAC championships coming back home. Let's look at our halftime numbers here. Again, Russia leading at halftime 43-15. After 1 quarter of play, the Raiders led 28-7, and Russia outscoring Minster in the second quarter 15-8, again for that halftime score of 43-15. 9 different Raiders have scored in this game. I'm just going to go down the list here. It's Zane Shappy with 2 points, Ross Fissinger with 6, Felix Francis with 4, Hayden Quinter with 2, Braden Monin has 9 points, Vince Borchers with 2, Braylon Crediner leads all scorers with 12 points. It's Xavier Flippo with 4, and Colby Monin with 2. For the Minster Wildcats, they're being led right now by Logan Cooney, who has 5 points. Next, it's Noah Sweeter with 4. Cole Albers also has 4, and Cole Richard with 2 points. We recognized the Minster cheerleaders a little earlier in the game. We'd like to now recognize the Russia cheerleaders, and they are led by their advisor, Brandy Flippo. Their cheerleaders are Jillian Chapman, Abby Fisher, McKenna Hoyne, Gracie McLennan, Annalise Magato, Anna Meyer, Grace Monin, Mackenzie Rose, Emma Daypor, Alexandria Garkey, Ella Flippo, Camille Saunders, Abby Sherman, and Savannah Spradlin. And if you missed our pregame reporting on the junior varsity game, Arushi won that one by the final of 57-31. Leading the way for the Raiders was Benjamin York, as he's been doing much of the season on the junior varsity team. Just a sophomore, he had 22 points. For the Minster Wildcats, they were led by a couple freshmen. Andrew Kettner actually had 12 points, and then Grant Larger had 5. Also in our pregame, we announced our keys to the game. Those were sponsored by Keel Pizza, and then our starting lineups, which were sponsored by Emerson Climate Technologies. Other sponsors include our scoreboard you see there on your screen. That's sponsored by First National Bank. It's the Think First scoreboard. All timeouts coming in tonight from Precision Strip, and at the end of the game, we're going to have our NKTelco player of the game, the Minster Live viewer sponsor you see on your screen there is Borchers Floor Center. To get things started here in the second half of play for Minster, they will go with their same 4 starters in Cole Richard, Dylan Watercutter, Logan Cooney, Caleb Sharp, and Cole Albers. And noticeably missing, of course, is Brogan Steffi. Brogan Steffi, as Cooney was going to get the starting score for Minster, and that is a welcome relief for Coach McClurg, as it took them a while to get things going in that first half. But again, Brogan Steffi out tonight. He's a sophomore, along with his sophomore teammate James Niemeyer. Both of those players, we were told, maybe just resting some minor injuries, but Steffi did play last night in that win over Houston, a 56-34 win for the Wildcats. Had 12 points in that one, as a matter of fact, to lead all scorers. Tonight, taking the night off, as well again as James Niemeyer. So Rushi with the ball after having a 43-point first half, and we're going to get a 5-second call on Zane Shappy. Spent too much time with that basketball. So a Rushi turnover, and things going Minster's way, and just what Coach McClurg needed his Wildcats to do coming out of that locker room. He took a couple timeouts in that first quarter. I believe actually used a third timeout in the second quarter, but trying to get his team in focus as Albers with the ball, gets it on out to Watercutter, on top to Cooney. Cooney picks up his dribble, thinks about the 3, gets it back to Watercutter. He's being guarded by Shappy. Cooney now in the lane. Hershey playing some nice man-to-man defense as Richard's going to put one up off the glass. No good. Rebound, though, Hayden Quinter. We talked about in our Kegel Pizza keys of the game that Minster was going to have to control the boards against Hershey. Hershey, a very good rebounding team. Matter of fact, last year they out-rebounded 30-13 as Xavier Flippo is going to get the bucket for the Raiders and the foul. So Xavier Flippo started the game out with the first field goal of the game for the Raiders. In the second quarter, he had the first field goal of the second quarter. Now he has the first field goal of the third quarter. Xavier Flippo likes to get things started for these Hershey Raiders, and he's going to head to the free throw line trying to make an old-fashioned three-point play. Flippo gets the shot to go down, so Xavier Flippo with a bucket and a free throw. He had the 4 points in the first half, now has 7. Picking the ball up at his Watercutter at the half court. Is going to get whistled for the travel. He tried to go up and find a teammate, couldn't find him, and took an extra dribble. So Flippo going to inbound it in front of the scores table. Gets it on to Shappy, the point guard. Flippo and Shappy, 2 4-year starters for the Hershey Raiders. And a turnover by the Raiders as Cole Richard now has it. He's going to take a 3, and Richard's ball rattles out, no good, but picked up by Albers. Albers going to get fouled. They'll head to the free throw line for a couple. So Minster playing very well coming out of the locker room here, with the exception of that foul on Flippo a little earlier. Wildcats looking much better than they did at the beginning of the first half. That foul will go on Zane Shappy, his second. As I said, Zane Shappy and Xavier Flippo both with 2 fouls. Shappy has just 1 foul, Flippo with 2. Albers gets the first to go down. Cole Albers now with 5 points, but Xavier Flippo playing his entire high school career as a varsity starter. Shappy playing almost the first couple games of his freshman year, played junior varsity, but then went to the varsity as Albers splits the pair. Rushi quickly down the floor with the ball. Quinter down low, gets it on top to Shappy. Shappy's going to drive. No, he picks it up, gives it to Monin. Monin being guarded by Watercutter. Hands it back off to Quinter. Quinter, a quiet first half. He only had 2 points. He gets tied up at the half court. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul. I'm not sure who this is going to go on. Ooh, it looks like it's going to go on Watercutter. He didn't agree with that call. For Cole Watercutter, that will be his second foul. Xavier Flippo to inbound it in front of the half court. In front of that Raider section. Hershey, a strong fan count here today. Hershey fans excited about this 3-0 start. Ball's going to go off the leg of Noah Sweeterman. So Flippo to inbound it underneath the Raider basket. Coach Cardonier calling out the set. On top to Shappy. Shappy going to drive around Watercutter. Picks up his dribble. Back in the lane some more. Looking for a teammate. Can't find anybody. Finally does get it to Cardonier. Being guarded by Albers. Cardonier's going to drive. Albers, nice job stopping him. Nice move there by Cardonier. Can't get it to go, but Flippo crashes the boards and gets that rebound. A tie-up. Noah Sweeterman going to get whistled for the foul there. In our Kegel Pizza keys of the game, we talked about the physicality of Minster and how that physical play has caused problems for Hershey in the past. Substitution for the Raiders now as Felix Francis comes in and Flippo heads to the bench. Hershey so far not letting it bother him as soon as Francis gets into the game, gets a nice little floater. He has 6 points. Hershey expands their lead back to 30. Albers underneath, a swat from behind by Cordonier. Ball going to go out, and Wildcats will keep it. Watercutter on the inbounds. Finally gets it into Albers. He's going to work over Francis. 6'7" over 6'5", and Cole Albers now having a nice game. He has 7. Monin almost lost it there. He's going to drive against Richard. Richard picks him up, stops him. Monin's going to put it up, and he's going to get the bucket and the foul. So just as Xavier Flippo did a moment ago, Braden Monin finishes and gets an extra opportunity to score. Monin now with 11 points. Also entering for Russia is Vince Borchers. Heading the bench will be Zane Shappy. Kind of a predictable substitution pattern for Coach Cordonier. Usually likes to bring Flippo and Shappy on the bench and insert Francis and Borchers for those two. Mana, the good free throw shooter, gets the old-fashioned three-point play. He now has 12. Let's see it on the scoreboard up there, but he does indeed have 12. And a turnover by the Wildcats gives it back to the Raiders. They now lead this ball game by 31 points. Their largest lead of the game right now. Borchers hands it off to Quinter. Hershey spreading out this Minster defense. Borchers going to lose it and picks it back up. Gets it in the corner to Francis. He's going to take a three. Felix Francis shots no go to the front of the rim, but rebound by Monon on the weak side. A whistle and another Minster foul. So Russia doing a nice job of rebounding. Getting second chance, third chance opportunities. Thus the 31-point lead that they have right now. That foul is going to go on Noah Sweeterman. Ball looked like it went off the foot there, Cordonier, but laying on the floor. Now we're going to get a precision strip timeout as Homan went down with the ball. We'll stay right here. We want to thank our sponsors tonight, and they include Kiel Pizza, First National Bank, Precision Strip, Emerson Climate Technologies, Carriage Works, Grand Lake Health, Kobe Plumbing and Heating, Lincoln Electric Automation, Minster Bank, New Knoxville Supply, Pratt Industries, Wagner's IGA, Wilson Health, Winners Meats, Borchers Floor Center, and NKTelco. In case you're wondering what's coming up for these two teams, for Russia, they will actually be off during the week. They have Houston next Friday, will be their next game. They're off next Saturday. Do have one game next week against Houston. For Minster, they will be right back in action on Monday. They travel to Botkins for a tough game over there, and then they'll be off on Friday and then play again on Saturday right here hosting Wapakoneta. So Russia get a little bit of a rest. No weekday games until that Friday matchup again against Houston. That will be at home. That game will actually be on NKTelco, and I'll be calling it with Brandon Coverman. So coming out of that precision strip timeout is the Wildcats. Sweeterman with the ball, being guarded by Quinter, kicks it out to Cooney. Cooney on top to Richard. Richard's going to take a three. That's blocked by Borchers as Cordonier gets it back to Borchers. Underneath, all alone, is Braden Monon, and Braden Monon having a very good game. He now has 5 in the quarter, 14 for the game. Watercutter trying to find a teammate, tries to get it to home, and the ball knocked around out of bounds. Minster's going to keep it. Substitutions for Russia now as Colby Monon will come in for Braden Monon. Ross Fissinger will come in for Braylon Cordonier. Well, the inbound goes to Cole Richard. Gets it over on top to Noah Sweeterman. In the corner to Homan, being guarded by Monon. Finally gets it back to Richard. Hershey a 33-point lead. Cooney's going to take a three. That's off the side of the rim, no good. Another rebound by the Raiders. Nice job there by Hayden Quinter getting the board. Going to get it to Monon. He's going to dish it down to Fissinger, and that's going to go up and off the glass. No good, but he's going to get 2 free throws. Fissinger fouled hard on that one. That one's going to go on Cole Richard. For Cole Richard, that will be his second foul. Homan with 2 fouls, Richard with 2 fouls, and Watercutter with 2 fouls. Fissinger at the free throw line. First one's on the way, and he gets it to go. So Fissinger had 2 3-pointers back in that big second quarter for the Raiders. 1 for 1 from the line right now. Substitutions now for the Wildcats, as looks like Watercutter and Cooney will head to the bench. Coming in for the first time will be Andy Puppelman, a 5'9 senior. He's number 2 out there. Also coming back in, looks like, is Caleb Sharp, the 6-foot junior, number 32. Fissinger trying to knock down 2 of them and gets the second one to go as well. So Fissinger now with 8 points. Russia a 35-point lead. We've got a running clock here, folks. Puppelman with the ball, gets it down low to Albers, tries to get to Albers, but Colby Mono with a hand in there, no knocked around. A Wildcat turnover. Raiders with the ball in the corner with it. Quinter, nice spin move on the lane, gets it out to, nope, trying to get it to Fissinger. Puppelman almost knocks that ball away. Up with it now is Sweeterman. Sweeterman gets the ball knocked out by Francis. Fissinger picks up the loose ball. Wildcats just too many turnovers in this game. Borchers in the corner to Quinter. Quinter driving, loses control, and a lot of contact there. Perhaps the 35-point lead, resulting in not as close calls as we saw in that first half. Ball going to go out of bounds and going to go back to the Raiders. Substitution now as Flippo's going to come in for Quinter. This is a very deep Russia team. As we said in that first half, 9 different Raiders to score. Russia trying to run their record to 4-0 at double weekends, first 2 weekends of the season. Jackson Center and St. Henry victories last weekend. Victory against Fairlawn last night as Felix Francis gets the floater to go down. Francis now has 8 points. Trying to pick up win number 4 here against Minster. Off the foot of Flippo, so Minster will keep the ball. Coach McClurg down there on the Minster bench wearing a Be Like Dave shirt, and those shirts being worn by both the Russia and Minster fans and coaches and players in tribute to Dave Borchers, who was a teacher here once upon a time and a Russia coach. Coach Borchers died unexpectedly in a car accident back in October. Both these communities love the former coach and teacher, and a nice three-pointer there by Caleb Sharp. Sharp with his first points of the game. Just the second three-pointer for the Wildcats. They had one in the first half by Logan Cooney. Russia now taking their time, the final 45 seconds of this third quarter. Being patient, trying to take a good shot. Down low with it, it's Mono working against Albers, kicks it out to Francis. Francis drive baseline, stop down there by Sharp. Fissinger with it on top to Borchers, over to Flippo. Flippo looking down low to Monon. Monon going to try to go up against the 6'7" Albers. No, he kicks it out to Borchers. Borchers in the lane to Fissinger. Fissinger going to drive in the lane, puts it up and over. Nope, Mono with the rebound. Ball knocked around. Flippo picks it back up. Borchers with it in the lane. He's trapped by Albers. Albers going to get whistled, I think, for the foul. That might be foul number 3 for him. Vince Borchers down there, a 6'1" sophomore going up against a 6'7" freshman in Albers. That is the third foul for Cole Albers. And with 7 seconds, the running clock to go, Russia's going to have to inbound it quick. That goes off of Cole Richard, and Flippo almost with a sneaky play. So with a running clock, Flippo inbounding it, throws it off the back of Cole Richard, can't get the bucket to go down, and after 3 quarters of play, Russia leads Minster 57-23. We'll be back in a moment here on NKTelco Sports.
CarriageWorks has expanded and now can hold up to 25 cars in our service bay. CarriageWorks thrives on customer satisfaction. We accomplish that by providing top-of-the-line technology. CarriageWorks now uses a laser beam system to measure down to the millimeter of factory specs to better service you and get you back on the road. CarriageWorks has a brand new top-of-the-line paint booth that uses waterborne paint. There's no job too big or too small for CarriageWorks. We're certified collision specialists. Come in and see us today.
Kemmler Orthopedic Center is focused on a personalized, caring approach to treat all aspects of orthopedics, including total joint replacement, shoulder reconstruction, stem cell injections, and more. Dr. James Kemmler and Jed Cooney, certified PA, are dedicated to providing the best orthopedic care in the Grand Lake region. Kemmler Orthopedic Center has offices located in Salina and Van Wert, along with extended evening hours. To schedule an appointment, call our office at 419-586-5760.
Want to remind our viewers that NKTelco Sports and its sponsors are pleased to bring you replays of tonight's high school varsity basketball action on NKTelco Channel 3 or in HD on Channel 503. Replays of this game will be on Tuesday, December 13th at 7 p.m. and Saturday, December 17th at 10 a.m. You can also watch more games on demand through YouTube, Facebook, and at nktelco.com/sports. And stick around for our post-game report. I have all your final numbers as well as our NKTelco player of the game. Both teams breaking the huddle. For Russia, they will send on the floor Zane Shappy, Hayden Quinter, Ross Fissinger, Braylon Cordonier, and Braden Monin. For the Wildcats, they will have Cole Albers, Cole Richard, Logan Cooney, Caleb Sharp, and we got one more here. Yeah, Noah Sweeterman's out there. Again, Brogan Steffi, the starter, not playing tonight after having 12 points in that win last night versus Howson, as well as the other letterman on this team is James Niemeyer. Hasn't played the last 2 games, and Albers gets a bucket to start out this fourth quarter. Albers having a nice game. He now has 9 points. And down underneath is Zane Shappy drives the bucket. He gets fouled, and we'll head to the free throw line for a couple. Team fouls right now for the Wildcats. They now have 8 fouls, team fouls. Russia just 1. And for Cole Albers, that's going to be his 4th foul. So having a nice game, tallying up 9 points, but 4 fouls. We'll see what Coach McClurg wants to do. And correction, Minster only with 17 fouls, not 8. And Shappy, a very good free throw shooter, gets that one to go down. Zane Shappy last year shot 78% from the free throw line. Zane now with 3 points in the game and make it 4. So 2 for 2 for Zane Shappy from the free throw line. Hershey now with a 34-point lead. Again, we have a running clock. Driving with it will be Caleb Sharp. He picks it up, gives it over to Sweeterman. Sweeterman guarded by Cordonier, gets it down low to Albers. Albers going to try to get a bucket. That's going to be knocked out of bounds by a Raider. So the inbounds coming from the Wildcats underneath their own basket. Albers hands it off to Richards. He's trapped in the corner by a couple Raiders. Tries to throw it off a leg, but actually Sweeterman picks it up. Sharp with it now. Over to Sweeterman. Sweeterman looking down low, trying to get down to Albers. Quinter doing a nice job guarding Cole Albers down underneath. Cole Albers, a 6'7" freshman. And for Hayden Quinter, just a 6'1" junior. And that shot no good by the Wildcats, but a rebound by Sweeterman. His shot's going to be no good, but he's going to get fouled. A little far for me to see up here, folks. I'm in the end zone, opposite where the play is at right now, and I'm looking all the way down on the other end, so trying to pick out those numbers. The heading of the line will be Noah Sweeterman. Sweeterman had a couple field goals in the second quarter, has 4 points for the game, has yet to score in this second half. Sweeterman, a 6'3" freshman. 4 freshmen on this roster as Sweeterman misses the first one. Sweeterman and Albers getting the majority of the playing time. Other 2 freshmen, Andrew Kettner and Cole McClurg, not so much, as Hayden Quinter and Braden Monin head to the bench for the Russia Raiders. Andrew Kettner did have a good junior varsity game today, had 12 points for the Wildcats. Sweeterman's second shot is on the way, and he makes that one, so Sweeterman able to split the pair. Raiders with the ball. Now in the game for the first time is Benjamin York, who had 22 in that Raiders win in the junior varsity game. Benjamin York, a 6'3" sophomore. Very good sophomore class for Russia. Matter of fact, got 5 of them on this roster. Might even have more. Dressed a few extra last night. And with 4.5 minutes to go here in the ball game, Russia the 59-26 lead. Borchers with it down underneath. Decides not to go up against Cole Albers. York's going to put it up. That's no good. Rebound Francis. He throws it up, and I think Cole Albers might have picked up his 5th foul there, folks. Indeed, he did. So Albers is going to end the game with 9 points and 5 fouls. Nice effort there by the freshman, as they're going to have to take him out of the ball game before Francis makes his first free throw attempt. Officials are talking about it. Typically that's not when you sub. Now they're going to let him shoot the first one, and then Albers will come out after this first attempt, since it's a 2-shot foul and not a 1-and-1. Francis does miss the first, so Albers will... apologies, they did not call that on Albers. They changed it. Albers not picking up the foul, and substitutions now as Borchers and Cordonier head to the bench, as well as Fissinger in the ball game now. Zeb Borchers, Jackson Grosjean. So a couple junior varsity players along with Benjamin York, and the second one from Francis is good. Felix Francis now with 9 points in the ball game. 3 minutes to play here in this ball game. Russia with the 60-26 lead. So Russia with 3 junior varsity players on the floor in Benjamin York, Jackson Grosjean, and Zeb Borchers, as Richards going to take the shot from the free throw line. That's no good. Ball knocked around, and I think Borchers is going to pick up the foul. And our PA announcer mistakenly calling him Zeb Schulte. It is indeed Zeb Borchers. Zeb Schulte with an injury, dressed in street clothes on the bench here tonight, the very end of the bench. Richard underneath his own bucket will inbound it for the Wildcats. Tried to get it on top. A steal by York, and York's going to drive, try to go up and around. We're going to get a whistle and a foul. That is going to be called on Noah Sweeterman, and heading to the free throw line will be Benjamin York, trying to score his first varsity points. Again, we have a running clock. So this game going to get over in the next 2 minutes, as York's first one is good. So congratulations to Benjamin York for scoring his first varsity points. As Felix Francis heads to the bench, and entering the game will be Landon Plyman. Plyman got his first varsity points last night in the win over Fairlawn. York's next one is on the way, and that one's too hard, so he splits the pair. And a whistle and a foul. That one will go on York, the sophomore. So Minster to inbound it underneath their own basket. Richard gets it in. And from the corner, Richard's going to take a three. And Cole Richard knocks down the three-pointer, his first long-range bomb of the game. He now has 5. And with a minute to go, Raiders have the ball. Colby Monin down low, puts a nice spin move in a reverse by Colby Monin around Evan Pranger now in the game. For Colby Monin, he has 4. Richard with the ball, hands it off to Cooney. Cooney going to drive around Borchers, puts it up off the glass. That's no good. Ball knocked around. Monin's going to pick it up, gets it out to Landon Plyman. Plyman on top to Zeb Borchers. Borchers over to Jackson Grosjean. See if Rushi's just going to kill the clock or try to score here. York with the ball, and he's going to drive in the lane and put it up and off the rim. No good, but he's going to head back to the free throw line where he was a little earlier and get 2 attempts. And York at the line for 2 free throws as the clock will expire, it looks like. And that will be the ball game, so I don't think York's going to get another opportunity, or will he? Folks, I'm not sure how that works. I don't think they're going to give it to him. So Russia is going to pick up the 64-29 win. Well, they do, in fact, give York the extra free throw. So that makes it 65-29 is our final. Well, individual scoring for the Raiders, it goes like this. Russia had 10 different players score in this ball game. I'm just going to go down the line, folks. For Zane Shappy, he had 4 points. Ross Fissinger ended his night with 8. Felix Francis with 9. Hayden Quinter with 2. Braden Monin with 14. Vince Borchers had 2. Benjamin York with 3 free throws there in the fourth quarter. Braylon Cordonier with 12. Xavier Flippo 7. And Colby Monin 4. So again, 10 different Raiders scoring in this ball game. For the Minster Wildcats, they had 5 different players score, and Cole Richard ended up with 5 points. Logan Cooney had 7. It was Caleb Sharp with 3. Noah Sweeterman had 5, and Cole Albers had 9. So again, 5 different Wildcats scored to this one. And the final is Russia 65, Minster 29. Minster will drop to 1-1 overall, and they will return to play quickly on Monday with that road trip to Botkins. You can catch all that action on NKTelco Sports. And for Russia, they're going to improve to 4-0 overall. They will next play on Friday, hosting Houston back at the Claire C. Naveau Gymnasium. That game will also be on NKTelco with myself and Brandon Coverman calling the play-by-play. And for tonight's player of the game, NKTelco player of the game, we're going to give that one to Braden Monin. So Braden Monin with 14 points in the ball game. He had 9 at the half and 5 in that third quarter. Braden not scoring much in the fourth after the game was pretty much over. So Braden Monin, our NKTelco player of the game. Congratulations to Braden for that. And that's it for me tonight, folks, for a final time. Again, Russia defeats Minster 65-29. We hope you enjoyed NKTelco's broadcast of high school boys basketball. Thanks for tuning in. And for Minster Schools, I'm Craig Fissinger saying good night, everyone.